Hello, what's going on, everybody? HuviLive back again with another live stream. I haven't done one of these in a while. Uh, oh shit, hold on a second. Give me one moment. Try to fix this. Give me one moment. Trying to adjust my microphone here. Okay, okay, I think I should be good. Yeah, this is another live stream, episode 6. I mean, I will talk some games on this episode, but mainly this is really about obviously as you see the title on the screen, Colin Kaepernick, and this is mainly because this has to do with my favorite football team, the Miami Dolphins, and let me share this out real quick. Sorry about that. Yeah, let me share this out real quick before I start. Okay, so just give me one moment. Um, oh man, yeah, I'm a little bit tired today. I've had a lot of stuff that I had to do today, so I'm a little tired. But and plus I have to go to a birthday party after this. So I just wanted to get this out the way real quick. Yeah, I just want to get this out the way real quick. But cause I've been meaning to make this video even before everything circulated involving Colin and the Dolphins and stuff like that. Okay, all right. I think I'm pretty good here. As far as the gaming side, I don't really have much going on for me right now. I know people are just bought Hellblade. It's not my type of game, but so far I think I see people are enjoying it for the most part. They had some controversy revolving some of the mechanics in the game as far as like the idea behind making a game fun. I know it had some type of permadeath thing going on with involving permadeath. I didn't really look into it because, like I said, I'm not interested in the game. But I mean, outside of Jim Sterling's review, it seemed like people are liking it. So I mean, hopefully people are enjoying it. Me, I'm pretty much just waiting for the Uncharted Lost Legacy and Hot Shots Golf. I'm pretty much just waiting for that. I'm on the Xbox side. I just bought Dead or Alive 5 last round. I had it before on the PS3. So I decided to buy it on the Xbox this summer. I haven't played it yet, so but it's Dead or Alive. I know what to expect. So like I said, this Hoovy 123 on PSN and Xbox Live. If you haven't checked out if you haven't checked it out before, check out my gamer tag. Add me as a friend. Um, this Hoovy 123, pretty much HUVI 123. Both PSN and Xbox Live. Just friend me up or whatever. Um, so yeah, like I said, not really much going on for me as far as gaming goes. So I wanted to discuss this topic because I feel like this topic is something that pretty much is close to where I am. You know what I mean? I am a Dolphins fan. Um, I've been a Dolphins fan my whole life, and even though the franchise, I feel like it's gotten better, but I feel like the franchise for a long time has been resting on the laurels of 72 and the Marino years, and have done jack shit to be anything special for a long time. Up until recently, I feel like I feel like the organization's on the upswing, and then unfortunately you had the injury that happened to Ryan Tannehill. Uh, it seemed like he pretty much aggravated the ACL injury he had at the end of last year. and is more than likely going to be out for the year. Oh, Anchorman's on. That dude rarely makes videos anymore, man. Hold on a second.
All right. So,
Give me one moment. Give me one
lined
moment.
up right here. All right. Jesus, looks ancient.
Uh,
All right.
okay. I just sent him a message.
All right. Getting things lined up here.
All right.
All right. So, how are you guys doing tonight? I don't do a lot on this channel, but
All right.
on occasion.
All right. Let me get back to what I'm doing. All right. So big shout out to Anchorman V, man. Big shout out to Anchorman V. But okay. So Ryan Tannehill he gets hurt. They haven't announced anything, but more than likely he's out for the year with the ACL. Right. So that puts the Dolphins in an interesting spot because obviously the Dolphins they re-signed most of their players. They have what I believe to be the best offense that they've had in a long time. They have Jarvis Landry, who's really good. They have Kenny Stills, who was great for them last year, and they have Devontae Parker, who's in his third year. I believe, he was their Dolphins' first round pick, 3 years ago, and people feel like this is his time to ascend because he has number one receiver attributes. You know what I mean? Tall dude, big tall dude, can get up in the air, get the ball, and stuff like that. So they have a good core of receivers. Plus they have a running back in Jay who broke out last year, had multiple 200 yard games, and is really up on the up and up. And obviously, I think I guess the Dolphins also feel like because their main issue last year was stopping the run on defense, and they feel like they shored up that side of the ball. So there were definitely expectations going on for this team going into this year. And obviously, we're not gonna be silly enough to say that we're gonna compete with the Patriots. You know what I mean? But we felt like we had an opportunity, and then the injury happens. And obviously, with the whole situation going on with Colin Kaepernick, and for those who don't know, I'm gonna try to go through a quick rundown. Colin Kaepernick was the quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers. Um, at one point he was regarded as one of the top quarterbacks in the league. Very athletic. He had a good arm. I'm sorry for my notifications. He had a good arm. Great legs when it comes to running the football. Led the 49ers to really some of the best years they've had. Since since Steve Young with the reaching the Super Bowl, narrowly losing the Super Bowl to the Ravens, and so yeah, he was once a highly regarded, highly touted quarterback, and then the bottom fell out of the organization. Their coach left. Players either got traded, not traded. Players either left via free agency. I'm sure some of them got traded. Either they outright quit football altogether, or just didn't become no good. And Colin was definitely a part of that. You know, and he was pretty much one of the last guys from that era to be gone. And over the past year and a half, he's kind of made his feelings known about what's going on in the world when it comes to Black America and police brutality. And he started doing this thing where he would kneel during the national anthem, and people made a big deal out of it. And and the giant the 49ers throughout all this time was pretty much trying to get rid of him. They started a guy named Blaine Gabbert who absolutely sucks, starting in his place. But they did everything in their power to get rid of this man, And this year they succeeded. They weren't very good. He was fine. Like he wasn't terrible, but he wasn't. He wasn't enough. So he's a free agent, and the big deal with him is that seemingly no team is giving him a shot to be part of their team as a quarterback, whether it's a starter or a backup or what have you. Um, for me, it's clear as day was going on with the dude. He's getting blackballed, absolutely getting blackballed by the league. It's clear as day. I see arguments all the time on Twitter. I get into arguments with people regarding what why he not on the team and whatever. The fact is simple. The reason why he's not on the team is because people don't want the quote distraction, which is such a stupid cop out bullshit answer. Because at the end of the day, no player is running a route. No wide receiver is running a route, thinking to myself, man, I wonder what they're gonna ask me about Colin Kaepernick while he has to worry about a whole bunch of dudes on the field trying to kill him. Like this whole thing about distractions and shit like that is bullshit. These athletes are professionals. They're professional ball players. They're professionals. They're not. If they answer, if they first off, the way it's done here in Miami, to my knowledge, someone's getting hurt. I don't know what the hell's going on. Yeah, I'm doing this outside, so I apologize if you hear any type of distracting noise. But the thing is that most of the time these NFL players they only talk once a day anyway. So this whole thing about distraction and shit like that is garbage. It's bullshit. It's complete utter nonsense. The fact is, you have a bunch of owners who are too gutless to sign the dude because either they fear fan persecution or they feel whatever they feel about Colin Kaepernick in his own right. You know what I mean? The reason why I wouldn't put Stephen Ross, who owns the Dolphins, the reason why I wouldn't put him in that light is because at the end of the day, like Stephen Ross is one of the most progressive owners in sports. Like really, when you think about it, he first of all he had 4 players on his team kneel down for the national anthem. Now they didn't do it all year like Kaepernick did, but they all kneeled down. Like Kenny Stills, the wide receiver for the Dolphins, kneeled down. You know what I mean? Like he kneeled down and he got a new contract. A year like Kaepernick. So like it's complete another dog. It's complete another dog shit. Whatever excuses they're using is complete another dog shit. And regarding Stephen Ross, like I said, I got distracted for a second. I apologize. Like I said, right? He had multiple players on his team kneel down also, right? And he was supportive of those guys kneeling down, even when you had Miami MP, like it was Miami Dade police threatening not to escort those players to the field for the national anthem. He still supported them. So he's not in the same boat as the rest of these bullshit ass owners. He's not in the same boat. Not even a little bit. You look at what's going on with Baltimore, and I believe the New York Giants had an opportunity to sign him. Like it's clear as day what's going on. He's being blackballed. It's not even you can't argue that fact. He's being blackballed. Yeah, I mean it's not the reason why it won't work here has really nothing to do with the kneeling down. It had nothing to do with that. It had nothing to do with that at all. The reason why it won't work here in Miami is because of his thoughts on Fidel Castro. You know what I mean? For those of you who don't live down here in South Florida, who might have heard of Fidel Castro but don't who he is or what he is or what have you. Now Fidel Castro is I believe now is deceased. He's dead. He is he pretty much he's the dictator of Cuba, right? And for me, here's how I look at it. If I and obviously I lived in South Florida all my life. I've met many Cubans. My dad, my mom, like more mainly my dad. He has a bunch of Cuban friends. I'm of Haitian descent, so we have a tight knit. Our communities, along with all the Caribbean communities down here, we're all in this together, right? We're all one big happy family, all one big happy family, right? And you hear these stories about how they had to like leave Cuba because of persecution and them ripping families apart, and they're having hearing about family members being political prisoners, political prisoners and shit like that. Like it's clear as day that this Fidel Castro is one bad dude, one awful person, dictator, pretty much. So when you see a guy like Colin Kaepernick, and look, I understand why he feels the way he feels about Fidel. Like he brings up it like points about like sorry. He brings up points like, healthcare and literacy and stuff like that, which I mean you could poke holes in some of his arguments, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna take the word of people who lived through his reign. I'm going to take those people's opinions on that, except for instead of Colin Kaepernick's. You know what I mean? But the reason why he can't play down here is because of that reason. Because the Cubans down here, like the vast majority of them, have a legit hatred for Fidel Castro. And seeing someone, especially someone from the outside, sympathize with that man, it's man, it's no good. Like that's the reason why it had nothing to do with the kneeling down. The kneeling down stuff, that's a problem that you see with Baltimore. That's the reason why the Baltimore owner is not considering him. And some of these other teams. Now, I also want to say this, right? Now, obviously, you can't just take out like it's not like all 30 teams are blackballing him. I would probably say you have 15 to 16 teams who are comfortable with their quarterback situation. The Dolphins used to be one of them before Tannehill got hurt, right? You got a couple of them who want to start off with younger players and stuff like that, and they're building up with younger talent. So you have that. You have some teams who just want to tank. That's fine too. But there is definitely certain teams who could use this man's help. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna look through a list of starting quarterbacks in the NFL, right? And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to pick out one by one which one of them are good and which one of them are not. And we're gonna and the thing is that it's clear as day that he's being blackballed with this list. Let me look at it. Okay, so I'm looking at the list right now, and you look at obviously some of the teams that they have on there. Like, okay, for example, with the Bears, they're starting Matt Barkley. That dude's done nothing in this league. Nothing in this league, right? So you're telling me that Colin Kaepernick couldn't start for Chicago? Come on now. Um, Robert Griffin III is still a starter for Cleveland. I had no idea. All right, so Denver, they have Trevor Simeon. I know he's a young guy. I don't know if he's gonna be. I don't know if he's gonna be any good. To be honest with you. All right, the Houston Texans, right? They're starting a guy named Tom Savage. I mean, fuck out of here, Tom Savage. Fuck out of here. All right, let me see. Who else do we have? All right, so LA starting Matt Goff. I mean, yeah, the Rams are starting Jared Goff. The jury's still out on him, but he's a high draft pick, so I can understand that. Obviously, you have the Dolphins with Matt Moore, and I'll address that part with color in a second. Minnesota has Sam Bradford because I think Teddy Bridgewater hasn't recovered from his knee injury. Let me see. Yeah, that's not. Yeah, that's not. That's not. Yeah, that's not right. They still have Ryan Fitzpatrick as the Jets starter. Just not. That's not true. I think he's gone. And the Jets, they have no fucking excuses. None like apparently none of their quarterbacks are any good. You know what I mean? Some dude named Hackenberg, whatever the hell he's called. I think he got kicked out of practice for not learning how to snap. Like fuck out of here. So they have no excuses. I know Oakland. They have David Carr. I don't know if he's healthy yet. Eagles got Carson Wentz. He. I know he's. Wait a minute. This. Hmm. Okay, so this is kind of like a combination because obviously some job opportunities aren't finished yet. So all right, let's see. The Titans. I mean, I don't know who the wait Titans. Yeah, the Titans they have Mariota. So yeah, that's fine. And like I said, like okay, so I pointed out the list. As far as starters go, like I can understand him not being a starter necessarily because at the end of the day, every other team here they seem like they have a quarterback that they trust. You know what I mean? Like, and that's fine. And to be frank, I don't know if Colin is a quality starter anyway. Because I mean, the last couple years that in San Francisco, granted, I don't think he had enough talent for to get the help that he needed. But at the same time, uh, you know, like I said, he wasn't very good. I mean, the team wasn't very good, and he wasn't very good. I think he was fine last year, but very good, and he lost his starting job for a reason. So it's okay if he's not a starter. Like that's not the issue. But you have a lot of these teams who could use a backup. Most of the teams that I have there they can use a backup. And the reason why he's not on the team, the reason why he's not on the team is because of the kneeling. That's it. And the thing that frustrates me most about the kneeling is that people are just concentrating on that and not concentrating on why he's doing what he's doing. Like, look, if you don't feel like police brutality is an issue, that's fine. But here you have a guy who feels like it's an issue and is peacefully protesting that. But yet you have people, they treat like I'm looking at Twitter and they treat this dude like he's the devil. When all he does is go and does the charity work. He's putting the money where his mouth is. You know what I mean? And people are still like this crushing the dude. They're crushing this dude as if he beat his wife or as if he's killed people via DUI or as if he's done dog fighting. The reaction to this man is beyond the pale off. And a lot of these dudes who sit there, they talk about distraction. Oh, it's not. He's too much of a distraction. This and that. But yet they're perfectly okay with all these other instances going on with DUIs and men and these football players beating up women and shit like that. I wish they had the same energy for that they do for the Colin Kaepernick thing. I wish they did because it comes off as odd to me that a guy doing a protest is somehow put on the same scale as some of the other shit, or even is looked upon as being worse than some of the other stuff that we've seen. You don't see nearly enough outrage for guys like Greg Hardy or guys like I think they had a Giants kicker who beat his wife. I'm sorry, let this right out. Um, yeah, so I mean, like you don't see nearly the same amount of outrage that people apparently have for Kaepernick, and for these teams, and this is mainly for Baltimore, for this team to be like, oh, we have to pull our fans on whether or not they want I was whether or not they want him on the team. What type of bullshit is that? If you actually gave a flying fuck about winning, either say, okay, we're interested or you're not. If the coach and the GM are okay with it, why aren't you okay with it? You know what I mean? When the fuck did they ever pull their fans on anything? I bet you they don't pull their fans on prices, on ticket prices, on beer prices. So now they want to pull their fans on bringing a guy here on this team? Come on, man, it's bullshit. Complete another bullshit. Completely another bullshit, man. Let me see. Okay. Well, before I go, let me discuss the whole Jay Cutler thing. Reverting this back onto the to the Dolphins end. I'm fine with the move. Like, it's not, it's not. Listen, it's a shitty situation regardless. Like, you lose your starter, who I thought was good. A lot of Dolphin fans didn't think he was very good. I think he was good, and I thought that this was going to be his best year. But the situation, like with Jay Cutler, I'm fine with it because at the end of the day, he knows the offense, and I trust Adam Gase. He did a good job last year. We'll see what happens. He knows Cutler. Cutler had some good years. Had a good year with Gase as the offensive coordinator. I'm gonna give him a chance. You know what I mean? I personally I prefer Kaepernick because I think Kaepernick, you know, as far as his skill set, I think fits the personnel of this team more. But at the end of the day, I'm not a coach. I'm not an NFL football coach. Adam Gase is, and Gase, had an opportunity to coach Colin Kaepernick in San Francisco when they were looking for a coach, and he chose Miami because he liked Tannehill more. So, again, so apparently this was a Adam Gase decision to bring Color in. I'm gonna trust the coach. I mean, I have my reservation for Color. I think he is better than people give him credit for, but I also think that he's an underachiever, and I do think that he seemed to be very careless with the football. But at the same time, I feel like he has more talent here than he had in Chicago, especially near the end. So we'll see what happens on that front. Before I go, I just wanted to really summarize. Actually, hold on a second. Before I do, let me actually look up on Twitter and see what's going on. Maybe if there's something that let me see if there's anything else that is there to talk about. Apparently, Stan hit another home run. Yeah, that dude's been raking, man. Oh, well, actually, let me talk about this game real quick because I saw BG stream this yesterday, and the game is called Player Unknown Battlegrounds. I saw gameplay of it. I get the appeal of the game. I don't know. I think the game might be a little bit too slow paced for me. You know what I mean? Like, what you do, you drop, you parachute down into an area, and scavenge for ammo and equipment and stuff like that, and then you go out there and try to survive, become the lone survivor. You can play by yourself, or you can play up to 4 people. I get the appeal of the game. I really do, man. But I don't know if the gameplay style. I think the gameplay style is a little bit too slow for my pace. You know what I mean? Like me, I'm a running gunner. That's just how I that's how I am. You know, but and you can't really do that in this game. I think you can, but it's not advised. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. It is coming out first on the Xbox. So if I am gonna get it, I'm gonna get it on that. So we'll see what happens. Let me see. Anything else? Anything else? Anything else? Let me see. No, I think we're good for today. But just to summarize about the whole Colin Kaepernick thing. Like, again, I'm not gonna pretend that to do some sort of superstar quarterback because he's not. Like, he's not some superstar quarterback who is because if he was, he would still be in the league. Absolutely. You know what I mean? If he was this super great quarterback, whatever, he would still be in the league because quarterback is a tough position to to fill out. With that said, there are teams in the league that need quarterbacks, whether it's starters or backup, and it's clear as day that the dude is it's clear as day that the dude is being blackballed because you have a lot of garbage ass quarterbacks who still have jobs. You know what I mean? So so yeah. So I mean, yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. This is Who We 186. I am out. Peace. Share the video if you can. This is Who We 186. I'm out.